Hey, what's going on YouTube? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Scattered Brilliancy. My name is Travis, and today we are here, I'm here, to review Lifetime's Whitney Houston movie, the biopic that just literally went off about 5 minutes ago. I've been taking notes throughout the movie, and I'm gonna give a review of it. Like I said in the Soul Train video, I guess I may start doing reviews and giving my opinions on things. So we're gonna start with this. So I've kind of broken this down into good stuff, bad stuff, and I'm just gonna give you my overall general opinion on what I think. Since it was said that this movie was gonna be coming out, there's been a lot of back and forth about whether or not this was a good idea, whether or not this was a bad idea. We all knew that the Houston family was not behind this project and did not want it to come out. A lot of people were concerned about how this film was gonna turn out, because we just came off of the Aaliyah movie, which was done by Wendy Williams production company, and y'all know that movie sucked. I ain't even watched the whole thing. I watched it midway to the end, and it was just bad, y'all. It was just bad. But I have to say that overall, I would not say that this movie was anywhere near as bad as the Aaliyah movie. I would not say that the movie was great, in my opinion. I would just probably say okay if I had to give it a rating. I'd probably give it about a C. About a C, C plus, something like that. And these are the reasons why. Angela Bassett was the director of this film. This was her directorial debut. And I think that from a directorial standpoint, she did a good job. And I'll get into that later, but I think she did a pretty good job of directing this movie. Because Whitney Houston's family was not behind the project, they were not, signing off on the rights for her vocals to be used, because Whitney Houston didn't write any songs, so she technically doesn't own the songs, but the Whitney Houston, estate has control over her voice, so that's why certain songs were still able to be used, because Whitney didn't write any of her music. So her songs were still able to be used, but they had Deborah Cox sing the songs instead. And on a side note, where is Deborah Cox and why haven't you put out an album in a long time? Because Deborah Cox is someone who can blow, who can really sing, and I think she did good. I think she did all right with Whitney's songs. The thing is, it's hard to even imagine anybody else singing Whitney songs but Whitney. So even in just listening to Deborah singing them, even though she was doing a great job, you still can't help but to compare it to the original. So, I was definitely still in here, bopping my head and jamming to certain songs. But I think Deborah Cox did a really good job, and man, we need you to put out an album. Okay, thanks. So I took notes about things that kind of went on throughout the movie. So this movie starred Yaya DaCosta as Whitney Houston and Arlen Ascarpita as Bobby Brown. And Yaya DaCosta comes from the modeling world. She was the runner-up for America's Next Top Model. I want to say that was like cycle 3 because Eva Pickford won that season, but she was like the runner-up. And this Arlen guy, I think I'm not gonna say he's fairly new, but he hasn't been in a lot of things that I'm aware of. I think the last thing I saw him in was Final Destination. I didn't even watch that movie. I just happened to catch a glimpse of it. So, yeah. A lot of people weren't really happy about the casting of him because they felt like he wasn't dark enough to play Bobby Brown. And I get where they're coming from. I do want to look at a movie where the actors or actresses look similar to the person that they're portraying, hence the Aaliyah movie reference. People will complain about the fact that Missy and Timbaland didn't look, so on and so forth. So I can kind of get it, but they gave him the little headpiece wig thing, and that helped bring the vision together. The signature thing he didn't have was the gap, so it's like, how can you be Bobby Brown without at least just falsifying the gap or something? But let me just say that this movie really shouldn't have been titled Whitney. This movie should have been titled Bobby and Whitney, or Whitney and Bobby, because the movie focused on their relationship. And I don't think a lot of people really knew that. And they put that out a long time, and this movie was just highlighting their relationship in just that certain span of years. And this wasn't about Whitney's whole career. And I also read that Angela Bassett said she was not going to do a death scene, which is good because I don't think anybody can really handle seeing that and never really be disrespectful. But this movie really should have been titled Bobbi and Whitney, because Bobbi was a very integral. I think that's right. Integral. Y'all know what word I'm trying to say. I think I'm saying it right. I know how to spell it. Integral. How you say it? Integral? No, that ain't right. Integral. Bobbi was a very integral part of this movie. So that's why the title should have been that. So let's get on to, I guess we can start with the good stuff first. Something that I thought was really good was the look of the film. When the film opened up, they were at the third annual Soul Train Awards, and I thought the overall look of the film just was really nice. The clothing, the hair, all of that was on point, and I felt like it was very time appropriate for the time period that they were portraying, which was in the 80s. I think, that was in the 80s. But I also feel like a certain look of the film was bad, but I'll get to that when I get to the bad stuff. So yeah, the makeup and the wigs and all that kind of stuff was really well. Bobbi's hairpiece thing, wasn't too overly done. It wasn't so fake, like you could see it, so I thought that was good. Like I said, Deborah Cox, I think, did a great. Her voice is amazing, so I think that was also one of the highlights and the good parts of the film. I think the actor portraying Clive Davis was pretty spot on. And I think Yaya was a very nice casting for Whitney. She looked like she did some research and her homework on Whitney's mannerisms. When they put her in the wig and makeup, it really made her seem like she was Whitney. Not that they look alike, but you could at least tell who she was portraying. Overall, the movie, I think, did the best at giving a good image of what was going on. Even the little details I appreciated when it came to hair and all of that, but I also appreciate the details when it came to fashion, like the clothes that Whitney had, how her hair looked at a certain time. Even Sissy's hair, even though she kind of like Mary J. Blige, I appreciated how her hair looked. Whitney's wedding dress, Sissy's headpiece thing that she had going on for the wedding, I didn't really understand that. It looked like it was bad, and people saw it on the movie, and I think they thought that was like what people thought that Sissy wore. No, you go look that picture up. That's what Sissy had on her head. Yeah, that was bad. Like who told her to do that? It looked like she had like small purple bananas on a hat, but whatever. We got a lot of sex during this movie. A lot of sex. I wrote down how often we got sex. We got it a lot in the beginning. So we got sex 20 minutes into the movie. Then after another 8 minutes, we got it again. And then after another 15 minutes, we got sex again. So they hit us with a lot of sex in the beginning. And it was a bit much for my virgin eyes. It was a bit much for all that sex going on. And they also focused a lot on Whitney's drug addiction. And like, they made it seem like Whitney was carrying around cocaine in a little compact mirror thing. Like, damn, was she? If you watch Being Bobby Brown, how they were acting on there, I wouldn't be surprised if she was carrying around crack in a compact case, because they seemed like they were lit a couple of times. What I was also confused about, and I know this review is all over the place, what I was confused about was the whole relationship with Robin. I know there had been rumors that Whitney, was in a lesbian relationship with her assistant woman thing, and I thought that they were gonna kind of touch on that, but it was almost like they how can I put it? They just kind of like dangled it in front of you and like, we ain't gonna talk about this, but we're gonna let you see this, and we're gonna let you have suspicions, but we're not gonna address it. So they really didn't address that like I thought they were, because even the way the actress playing Robin would look at Whitney would give you this whole, I wanna, eat your cat, but so I thought that they was going to go into that, but they didn't. So I didn't really see the purpose in that. I thought that it was cool that they were aiming to tell what a lot of people have said is the truth, in that Bobby Brown is really is not to blame for Whitney's drug addiction and all that kind of stuff, and that she was doing this kind of stuff before him. You know, a lot of people I think didn't want to accept that, and because he had the bad boy image, it was easy to pin all of that on him. You know, and Whitney's brother came out in an interview not long after she died. I think he did it with Oprah. You know, came out in an interview saying that I'm the one that introduced her to crack. You know, so I thought it was good that they kind of painted him a little bit softer and allowed people to see a little bit of a different perception of what a lot of people have thought of Bobby Brown for so long. You know, the thing with these movies are you're never really sure if you're getting an accurate portrayal. You know, even if Whitney was still alive and she had her hand in this, you really don't know if you're getting an accurate portrayal because, like I said in my Instagram video, people only show you what they want you to see. So, you know, it's kind of hard. But I think that might be all I have for the good stuff. I can't honestly say I enjoy watching it. I will probably never ever watch it again in my life. If it comes out on DVD, I won't buy it. It just wasn't good enough for that for me. It wasn't as bad as Aaliyah, but it wasn't there. It wasn't. I thought it was interesting that as far as Whitney was concerned, that she only wanted cut buddy privileges in the beginning. Whitney was not trying to get in a relationship with Bobby. She was like, bro, can I just get that thing? And you know, we not put a title on this. And Bobby was like, no, I want a relationship. He's like, oh, if you can't just have it, you gotta have me too. So I thought that was weirdly nasty. With them highlighting her love of Sparkle, I thought that they were gonna, you know, continue that into her wanting to remake Sparkle, which eventually did happen, and wanting to cast Aaliyah as Sparkle, but that didn't go anywhere. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go into the bad stuff because I got far more criticism than I do compliments. It's like I posted on Facebook when I was kind of live chatting about this. There was something missing from this movie. And I can't really put my finger on what it was, but something was missing. You know, it could have been the family's blessing, but something was missing in the storyline. And I said, you know, it could be the pace, it could be, not the pace of the movie. It could be the storyline. I'm not sure. I won't say that it's the actors and the actresses because I think they did a good job of what they were presented with. So I will give them their props, their acting props and all of that kind of stuff. I give them that. But just something about the movie was just lacking something, and I can't put my finger on what it was. It was, I don't know, it was just the movement of the story just did not feel, it didn't feel organic. It didn't feel natural. It just felt rushed in a sense, but they still told a lot of stuff, but it still felt kind of rushed. It just didn't feel like the fluidity of it all just didn't seem to be there. And I don't know what could have been done to fix that because I don't really know their love story. And because this is a story about a real person, it's hard to kind of judge the movie because you don't really know what happened and you're trying to figure out like, did this really happen? But even if this was a movie about a fake singer who wasn't real, this movie would still not have worked. It was missing something, y'all, and I can't even put my finger on what it was missing, but it was missing something. Cause it just felt too them, her, him, them. Like I don't know. I don't know if that made any sense to anybody, but just something was missing. We got 4 Whitney Houston songs throughout. I hope this paper isn't making a lot of noise. We got 4 Whitney songs throughout the movie. We got The Greatest Love of All. We then had I'm Your Baby Tonight, which I love. We got Jesus Loves Me a cappella. We got I'm Every Woman, and then we got I Will Always Love You. I meant to look at the credits to see who was doing Bobby's voice and who was doing Montel Jordan's voice, because that definitely wasn't Montel Jordan singing This Is How We Do It. But they had Luther's actual song in there. So, whatevs. Let me go and move on to this bad stuff. So not only was the pace bad, the lip sync. Now I know, you know, it wasn't Yaya and it wasn't the dude actually singing the songs, but the lip syncing was bad. It wasn't believable, and I'm starting to believe that that's not even the actors' faults. You know, because I feel like they move their lips to the track that's being played, but when you go back and edit all of that, if your editing is off by like a split second, you make the person like they're not singing, you know, in tune with the track. So the lip syncing just, I could do without all of that. And the one thing I think that pissed me off the most about, you know, there are two things about this movie that pissed me off. I feel like this is too, let me wind this down a little bit. There we go. I feel like there are two things about this movie that pissed me off the most. The first thing was these random CGI aerial outside shots. I'm starting to believe that the budget of this movie wasn't where it needed to be. At the very beginning of the movie, when they were showing, I don't know if that was, that was the house that Whitney had bought with Robin. They had a computer generated animation of the house and the cars pulling up. Like, they tried to make it seem real, but I guess for me, because I'm an artist and I can recognize these things, you could clearly tell that was fake. Then they had it later on in the movie, and I don't remember if it was at the club or if it was at their house together. Their house was digitally made again, and I'm like, that is whacktastic. Why did y'all have to have computer generated images for parts of this movie? Like, this is not an animation. This isn't an animated children's film. Like, that bothered me. Like, I wrote that down like aerial CGI for real. I didn't get that. Second thing that really bothered me, I didn't like the fact that the stage that she performed on was the same for every song. Every song. They shot all of those in the same building, on the same stage, with the same props. The little risers in the back for the band. That's it. We couldn't get like some changes. I can understand budget-wise, you gotta stay in the same building. But there are plenty of people at shops, they can make stuff to make this place look different every time, so it didn't look like. And even if that was her stage and that was what she always traveled with, it was boring. It was the stage, a couple risers, and a sheet with some lights on it. It took away from the feel of the authenticity. It did. I every time it came on the screen, I was just like, I bet the stage gonna look the exact same. And it did, every time. So those two things bothered me the most. And I guess it's good that it was things like that and not like the acting and stuff. Like I said, nobody did a bad job with the acting. However, whoever casted Sissy Houston, no. Because she was on, that lady played in, was it Parenthood? I think she played in Parenthood years ago. But that just wasn't a good casting for Sissy. Physically. I mean, I guess we talked about Bobbi, but Sissy's just... But overall, I think they tried. You get a C for effort and a C for the actual movie. I did learn a lot though. I mean, about the whole, like, spoiler, miscarriage scene and how often she did drugs. That was not really shocking, but I mean, I guess if you're gonna tell the truth, you gotta tell the whole truth. That man slipped her that little baggie of coke at that party, and Bobbi turned it down. And I know a lot of people were like, really? Bobbi Brown turned down some drugs. But Whitney on Lifetime, Lifetime, y'all gotta do better. But if you haven't seen the Whitney movie, you ain't missing nothing. You ain't missing nothing. I really wanted to like this movie. I really wanted to be like, dang, that was good. I really wanted to, but one other thing that was really good. I'll end on a positive note. I thought the ending was very good. The ending was very, very good. Very classy, and respectful. I loved. It was nice how it was almost as if she was singing the song to him. Saying, despite what we've been through and despite the directions that we're gonna go, I always love you, but no, bruh, this is not working for me. And I thought that was probably my favorite part of the film, was the ending. Not because it was ending, but I thought the ending was probably my favorite part. And the couple of things at the end. But as far as the love story, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the love between Bobbi and Whitney. And it may have been the chemistry. Maybe that's what was missing. Maybe along with the pace of the movie, the chemistry between Yahya and Arlene, whatever his name is. Maybe that's what was missing. I don't know, but that's my review for the Whitney biopic on Lifetime. Maybe I'll do some more reviews, who knows. Make sure you rate, comment, like, and subscribe. Like and rate are the same thing. So like, comment, subscribe, and share it on social media. And I will be talking to y'all later. If you're in the Charlotte area, Charlotte, North Carolina area, you can check me out this Friday and Saturday, January 23rd and 24th at the Duke Energy Theater in Spirit Square downtown. I'm going to be in a play entitled Blood Ties. The show on Friday is at 7:30 p.m. And there are 2 shows on Saturday at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. You can get your tickets at carolinatix.org. Search Blood Ties. I think we're on the front page. There's also an article about the play in the Creative Loafing newspaper here. And there's a commercial on the radio. So Legacy Theater Production Company is who that's through. I'll be playing the character Bishop. So come out and check it out. Tickets are limited. So if you're in the Charlotte area, come on out this weekend, January 23rd, 24th. Duke Energy Theater at Spirit Square, Blood Ties. I'll be talking to y'all later though.